It is on days like this where I find myself realizing that I take two little words for granted every single day of my life. And I think we all are guilty of taking these two words for granted. And those two words are good morning. I wish I could stand before you today and say good morning, but that's just not the case today. Because this is one of the worst mornings that this nation has ever seen. I come before you now as your president, as your leader, but most importantly, I come before you as a fellow American. I come before you just hours after we all stood in awe and watched the Twin Towers in New York City crumble to the ground. I come before you just hours after we watched a plane crash through the outer walls of the Pentagon. And I come before you just hours after we watched a plane crash into the hillside of Pennsylvania. Words cannot express how terrible this tragedy has been for our country, and we're still trying to catch up. But during this tragedy, I want every American to keep a few things in mind. First of all, the people who committed these acts, they wish to divide us. They wish to rip us apart, and they wish to tear this nation down. Secondly, my staff and I, we will find those responsible for these attacks. And those individuals will be brought to justice. And third, as difficult as it may seem right now, this nation is strong, and we will get through this tragedy together. Now, although the individuals who committed these attacks wish to divide us, I implore each and every American to not let this happen. Right now, we cannot be Republicans and Democrats. We cannot be conservative or liberal. Right now, we need to put these petty differences aside for the good of this nation. We need to become a unified body of Americans. We need to stand together. We need to pray together. And we need to give all of our thoughts and prayers to the families of the people that have lost their lives. And if we can do this, the terrorists who committed this act against our nation will fail. They have taken hundreds of lives, and they have affected countless lives already. And as the death toll climbs, we don't know what the outcome will be. But those individuals will end up failing in their ultimate goal of ripping us apart. They will fail in tearing this nation down if we can stay together. My staff and I, make no mistake about it, we will find these individuals and we will bring these individuals to justice. I have some of the brightest minds and some of the most well-qualified people working with me. And all of them will devote all of their energy to finding out who these people are and teaching them that this is not an acceptable thing to do. We will teach these individuals that acts like this against our nation will not be accepted. They will not be tolerated. And most importantly, they will not be taken lightly. And if those individuals are watching right now, which I have no doubt that they are, as our country grieves, I have one thing to say to those individuals. You have made the biggest mistake of your lives, and you will pay for what you've done. And I want every American to understand that all of our energy and every one of our country's resources will go to finding out who these evil people are and bringing them to justice. Although our hearts are heavy right now for the families of those individuals who have died, we will get through this tragedy together. We live in a great nation, and this nation has endured many terrible things before. We've endured a world war, a civil war, the institution of slavery, and much like today, we've endured an attack on Pearl Harbor. But our nation grew from those times. We remained strong, and we will remain strong after this attack as well. The American spirit is a great thing, and we will overcome anything that comes our way. And as difficult as it is right now for all of us, we will overcome this as well. This is the most painful address that I've ever had to give in my life, and I don't wish this task on anyone. But what I really do not wish on anyone is to lose their loved ones, like so many people have on this bad morning. Individuals who have lost their parents, their siblings, their children, their grandparents, these people will never come back. And there will be a hole in their lives as long as they can remember. But as difficult as this is, and as painful as this is for me to stand before you right now, you need to keep in mind that we will get through this tragedy together. That my staff and I will find the individuals responsible for this attack. And those individuals will face justice that they've never seen before. And we must remain united. We cannot let them win in their ultimate goal, which is ripping us apart. We cannot let them tear this nation down. If we can keep these things in mind, we will not wake up to bad mornings such as today, where the fog and the smoke from the rubble and the wreckage of the Twin Towers and the Pentagon, the fog and the smoke, they will not cloud our paths. But instead, that fog and that smoke will be lifted, and the path ahead of us will be clear. The mornings will be bright. And on those mornings, where our paths are clear and the road is open ahead of us, we will be able to say proudly to each other, and I will be able to stand before you and proudly say the two words that I will never take for granted again in my life. Good morning. Thank you, and may God continue to bless America.